I believe that to create the most effective and productive marketing, there are three fundamental things that you must have in place. Take a minute and come and listen.
Welcome to the Behind Her Brand podcast with your host, Kimberly Spencer. Every week, join Kimberly and her guest for inspiring interviews with passionate business builders, corporate leaders, and catalysts of change. Plus, we will be sharing business and career building strategies and tools that you can use to grow. So let's dive into today's episode.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Behind Her Brand. And I am your host, Kimberly DeShields-Spencer. And today we are going to dive into a topic that I'm not only passionate about, but it's a topic that I really believe in when it comes to really and truly developing a marketing that works for you, that's effective, and that more importantly, really is fashioned after who you are. And so I'm going to encourage you to grab paper, pen, whatever you can to take notes with, because my hope is that you will have some new ideas, you'll have some fresh perspectives, you'll have a couple of aha moments, and you'll find yourself thinking, okay, let me get back to basics. So the other day I was watching a really amazing video with a number of different athletes, and Kobe Bryant specifically was talking about just his beginnings and things that he did to grow. But there was a part of the story that really arrested my attention because it's something that I teach often about, and it's something that I believe in. And he was sharing how when he was in his adolescent age, he was not a great player. And that oftentimes people would make fun of him. Oftentimes people would be like, man, like, what are you doing on the court? And he would find himself each summer working to get better than the next summer. And he knew that he could not rush the process. He knew even at that age that, okay, I can't tackle everything that I'm not strongest in, but I can focus on the fundamentals. I can focus on becoming a really great shooter. I could focus on my jump arc. These are the different things that I can do. And while he was doing that, he still had people in his ear telling him what he wasn't, telling him what he needs to do better, and all these different things. But he stayed the course. He made sacrifices. He invested in time, resources, and anything that could get him to propel forward. And what it made me think about when it comes to marketing, and well, let me say this real quick. I'm often asked when it comes to how I think about business, why do I study so much about athletes? And not only was I was an athlete throughout my high school years and early college, I absolutely love how athletes think, especially those who have attained such great success. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of training. It's a different way of showing up every single day, because they don't just have mental battles. Many times they even have the physical battles too, and they have the emotional battles as well. So when they're able to work through those in a very honest way, it's amazing what is produced. So if you're thinking right now, so what does this have to do with marketing? It has everything to do with it. I believe in the fundamentals. There is so much competing with our time. There's so much information out there that says you need to do it this way, that way. And if you don't do it this way, you're going to be in the dark ages. If you don't implement this now, you're going to be way behind. And there's so much of that oftentimes that we are so in pursuit of the next marketing or branding kind of strategy or profit development strategy that we forget that you can't implement new strategies if your foundation is shaky or rocky or is not even there. Right? If you don't have something in place first, how can you build upon something that's not there or stable? So first and foremost, let's talk about the foundation. Many people focus on, you got to know your why, which I do believe that you got to know your why. But I think what's more important before you even get to that point is that you got to really understand your voice today. How you may have started your business may not be where you are today. If you're brand new, being really clear on your voice is very key. Here's an example. I do marketing and branding. Everyone knows that about me. They know I love it. They know that's the cornerstone of everything that I focus on when it comes to my businesses. My voice isn't one that's going to be probably as extroverted as everyone. I may not do a live every single day. I may not be flashy in my dress. I may not be all these different things, right? And when I mention about the dress, I'm going to tell you in a minute why I brought that up. There's a lot of things that I know that I'm not going to be, but there are so many things that I know about who I am and how I choose to show up. And the reason why I mentioned about the dress, I remember when I was in business, I had more flack from people saying that I should be wearing more heels. I had one lady that was relentless saying that I should be wearing red bottoms so I can show that I'm successful. I had many people say that I should be wearing suits and I should be wearing this, I should be wearing that. I mean, it was so unreal, the different things that people were saying that I should be. And that's just in the clothing area. Some people said I should be doing videos every single day. There were so many different opinions that I said, but what is it that I need to do? And how do I want my voice to show up? So I like to focus more on intimacy, and I like to focus more on, when I say intimacy, I don't need large crowds. I don't need large groups. I like to put out what I'm hoping is great content for people, and they love it, like it, share it, and go from there. I speak to an audience of one. And if that one starts growing, that's wonderful. But when I'm creating content, when I'm creating information, when I'm creating programs, conferences, anything that I'm doing, I'm thinking of the one person listening to me today. I'm thinking of that one person reading my book today, or my blog, or the magazine. And when I think about that one person, I'm sharing with them what it is that I want to convey. Now, that being said, now go to the next step about your voice. When you're very clear about how you want to show up, what is important to you, then that informs everything that you build around it. For example, I want people to know that I'm a woman of God. I want people to know that I really value my family and friends. And it's really important to me that people understand that I love what it is that I do. It's not just a word that I use. It shows up in what I do prayerfully. So when you go to my website, my hope is that you feel warmth. You'll see it through the testimonials and how I communicate. My hope is when people go to my events or go to our trainings or whatever it is that I host live, that they feel accepted, they feel seen, they feel like I care about every conversation that I have with them, which I do. But I want them to feel that. I want them to know it. I don't want them to leave and say, okay, that's not what I was expecting. I was hoping Kim would have been nicer, or I was hoping the information would have been like this. Whenever anyone finds me through whatever outlet that might be, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, a live event, blog, magazine, website, whatever it might be, I want my voice to be very consistent across the board. And so I think about that all the time. I want to make sure, okay, am I conveying the same thing everywhere? And if you're like, okay, I've never started that, so how do I get to that point? Write down what matters to you most and what you want your voice to be known as. There are some people that are very fiery and extroverted and full of a lot of crazy, fun energy. And so when you go to their platform, obviously that's what you want to see. And if you go to someone else's platform who's more direct, upfront, they just cut to the chase, that's a beautiful thing too, but you want to make sure you see that across the board. The reason why you want people to know your voice is because when they know your voice, if it sounds familiar to them, if it sounds comforting to them, if it sounds like, okay, this person's going to challenge me, inspire me, they're going to be more drawn to your content, and they're going to be more drawn to be connected to you. So be clear on your voice. You never want someone to say, okay, I still don't get what their platform is. I still don't get who they are. You don't want that. Next, you want to build in a system where you are constantly sharpening your skills, your expertise, your experience. And that might be like, for example, never getting tired of being educated in your craft. It always galls me when people say, I know enough, I don't need to go to this. I already know that. I've been doing this for 20 years. Well, you know what? Things change in 20 years. Okay? You may have heard the information before, but oftentimes, if you're really growing and challenging yourself, the information is going to hit a little differently because you're growing and challenging yourself, right? I always tell people whenever I read the Bible, one of my favorite scriptures is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, and all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. And I love that scripture. It feels differently to me depending on what season, what situation I'm going in. The words are still the same. They don't change, but their impact on me will change depending on how I'm growing, the situation I'm in, or whatever may be presenting itself where that scripture is needed. It's the same thing with information and your own expertise. The best marketing, the absolute best marketing, is the kind of marketing that shows your audience that you are not stagnant, that shows your audience that you know the information that you are sharing with them, but more importantly, that you have a real expertise and experience in it. If I go to your website today, right? And I see one thing. If 5 years from now I go to your same website and I see the same exact thing or outdated information or the same content being shared over and over and over and over, it's not telling me that you're growing. It's not telling me that you're challenging yourself. So how am I going to learn from you? Okay. So the first thing, understand your voice. The next thing, develop your expertise. Make that a commitment. Do not skimp on that. Okay, please don't skimp on that, because you need to be able to grow with your audience, and not just grow with them, but, and I'm going to say this, grow ahead. Your audience is hiring you, contacting you, working with you because of your expertise. Okay, so yes, you want to grow with them. You don't want them to not be where you are, because obviously you're working to develop your expertise and you want them to be able to understand that, right? So challenge your areas of expertise. The third thing is this, and this is very, very important. When you are trying to really and truly get back to the basis of your marketing, make sure that you know where your audience is. And I'm gonna put a little caveat to that too. And not just know where they are, but know what it is they need. Okay? I can't begin to tell you how many people keep asking me, Kim, I don't know what they need. I don't know what their issues are. I don't know this, but yet they're creating content based off of what they think their audience knows, or not knows, I'm sorry, what they think their audience needs. Creating that type of content will waste your time. If you're creating content without really understanding the needs, without really understanding what the issues are for them, you're going to be creating information that's going to go into an abyss, and it's not going to land the way that you want it to. And I can say that very firmly, because if someone comes to me and they said, hey, I really want to develop a strong marketable brand, but I'm over here talking to them about social media or something that's not even related to what they're asking for, they're not going to listen to me, right? If I say, well, no, you need to focus on this over here first, or you need this, and they're saying, no, but Kim, I really need to learn about this. This is really what my struggle is. And I'm like, no, I'm going to talk to you about this over here. Do you think they're going to trust me? Absolutely not. You want to be able to make sure that you understand. And if you're saying, well, I don't know what they need, ask them. Where can you ask them? Go back to past clients, people that may have signed up for your workshop. And maybe they're not clients in the sense of where they hired you to work with them one-on-one, but they've come to your events. They came because they were expecting something from you. So go to them and say, you know what, you came to this workshop when I was talking about this. Can you tell me what kind of information do you want around this topic? Do a poll online. Ask people that follow you. If I speak on the following things, would this hit the areas of things that you guys would love to learn more about? And if you say, well, Kim, all my clients are not on social media, okay, don't get into the semantics of that. I have people tell me that all the time. Well, my Facebook is a combination of clients and friends and family. It's okay. The people that will understand the question or can relate to the question or want to maybe even consider working with you, they're going to answer the question. Okay. It doesn't matter if everybody on there is not connected to you in a business way. Totally fine. The key is you need to be asking. You need to be checking in with your audience, because that's the only way that you're going to continue to grow your marketing and your brand. And that's what you want. You want to know your voice. And let me add a small caveat to that. Not just know it, but to also be able to communicate it effectively to where people know exactly who and what you are. Second, you want to keep developing yourself. That helps keep your marketing sharp, because that keeps your content sharp. It keeps your experience before your audience. You want to do that. And you also want to be able to make sure that you understand their needs and ask them. Reach out to them. That is important. Also, here's another thing to consider and write down as well. If you feel like, well, I'm kind of new and I'm not really fully sure on how to ask because I'm still building this thing out, or you've been doing it so long that people are not really as responsive, think about the different type of, I always call them sister companies or sister practitioners that are connected to your brand. Like, for example, I'm marketing and branding. So I may reach out to photographers that do branding shoots or videographers that do corporate videos. And I may ask them, when you're videoing or you're taking pictures of your respective clients, what are some of the things that you're hearing about their frustrations? What are some of the things that you're hearing about their struggles in in building a business or what have you. I may go to a social media manager because they're producing content and posting content. And I would ask them same questions. And so although their clients are not my clients, their clients are focusing on marketing and branding because they're hiring them for branding shoots, branding and corporate videos. They're reaching out to them for social media things. So they're going to have conversations with their audience, which is also my audience too. And so when I can hear that from my different sister companies or practitioners, if you will, then it also gives me information on, okay, so they're saying that so-and-so is mentioning A, B, C, or D. So now I know how to create blogs or content that will be able to speak to that. And that's the type of thing that you want to grow and develop when it comes to your marketing. And those are 3 key areas of fundamentals when it comes to building an effective marketing system. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you know how I always share that I want you to feel free to comment or share in any way. You email us directly at info@behindherbrand. You can post on our podcast pages. We have plenty of them on there, and you guys will see that on our website. Sorry about that. But let us know if this is helpful because I want this to be helpful to each of you, okay? Thank you for listening to our Behind Her Brand podcast, and I hope that you have an amazing day.